Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Project Nightlight developer playthrough and commentary. We're Fringe Realities, and this is episode 3, The Apartments. As we sort of dive in here, um, do we want to elaborate at all on, like, initially, concept and all that sort of stuff for this sort of level?
Um,
I suppose at first we've got the hub here.
yeah, got a little bit of gameplay from the hub.
Yeah.
But yeah. Second level is the apartments. It's kind of supposed to be more centered around Clara, the the mother character, and about her and Thomas's life before the department, where Thomas was growing up.
Hmm. Yeah. So, as we sort of come through the apartment into the observation wing here, we actually get to have a look at where they were kept while they were under study from the department. After they were sort of brought in from their, not necessarily like recruitment to the department, but the false pretenses of safety that they were sort of offered, at least in the lore and background documents and stuff, anyway.
Yeah, so there's all the three different observation rooms. There's a whole bunch of buzzers and things like that around the place, so you can actually unlock the doors and go into them.
Hmm.
But yeah, there's like this office you walk through, and then there's also a secondary office for observation that's down the hall a little bit.
Yeah, I'll go in there in a sec. But yeah, I took the time to actually sit here and read all the documents and stuff just to sort of see what I'd actually written out. And yeah, it's like, you know, talking about different abilities that they sort of exhibited, and empathy and foresight, and the kid who has a mix of both, which is why they were scattered out for their like psychoactive abilities.
And then
Yeah.
in each of the three observation rooms, they're kind of centered around a different character.
Yeah.
Like I think Thomas's one was the one that was like directly ahead of you when you walk out of here.
Yeah, Thomas is the one with the playmat and the rainbow on the wall. This
Yeah,
is the one that's focusing more on Simon, or the dad.
yeah,
So it's talking about like how after a whole year of being at the department under study and stuff, he showed significant brain activity when his family was mentioned, which is what prompts the department to initially go looking into who his family were. What eventually brings them in. So this is Thomas's room. You'll hear more about him a little bit later. Um, but yeah, the kid has both of his parents' abilities in terms of exhibiting sort of mental capacity for what they're trying to achieve. Yeah, different numbers and report numbers and stuff on there, which are referenced later on.
and there's also the fact that all these are like one-way mirrors.
Yeah, that's,
So
that's a good point as well.
yeah, so if you actually walk into them, if you're trying to look out through the glass, you won't actually see anything. It's just a mirror, so you just see the character.
Yeah.
Which I can't remember. I remember we mucked around with that. I can't remember how many like recursions each of the mirrors had, so I don't know how like infinite the effect is. Yeah, there you go.
I think depending on how many, like, that it was dependent on us. Like we could set it as high as we wanted,
Yeah,
but the more reflections you had reflecting against one another, then the heavier it got on your performance. Because the what do you call it? The elevator we had like set up infinitely for a hot second, and then chunky. Yeah, the elevator we had set up for a bit, and it got real spicy, to say the least.
I think that did slightly feed into the way we designed these, because I think we kind of worked out from the elevator like how we shouldn't really have like that infinite mirror effect, because it'll to make it look nice it'll be more intensive. So I think that was the reason why a lot of the windows are just 90 degrees to each other, so you can't really get that like infinite effect going too easily.
Yeah. So yeah, more testing observations on the mum, and on the left here is for Thomas. These three characters and chambers and stuff are also linked to the three creatures that appear within the game, which is kind of what all this ties into. Yeah. It was weird trying to come up with all this stuff. Like, sitting there at the desk just kind of thinking of, like, different experiments and shit that they would have performed on the two once they were brought in.
Yeah, I mean, that was...
This one was a nightmare to read as well. I had to, like, bend down but not get too close because the step pipe was still making me jump on top of
it. Is this at the highest setting?
I believe so, yeah.
I think at the lowest setting they become ineligible.
Yeah.
Not ineligible, that's the wrong word.
Illegible.
Illegible.
Yeah.
Is that...
I mean, there's certain ones that are, but like these ones I wanted to make sure were a bit higher so you could read them.
Yeah,
if you sort of chose to.
Can't remember if we mentioned it in episode 2, but I think there's a poster with an answer to the safe. You got the code to the safe written on a poster, and on lower texture settings you can't read it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I think I remember how.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't pick up on that at the time.
Yeah, but to me on a playthrough. That's what you gotta be wary of if you want readable documents.
In Nova, we've sort of steered away from having the detail and stuff like this actually textured in, and more so done it all via text mesh, so that it's not a problem whether or not it's actually readable or not at lower resolution.
That's a way cleaner way to go about it, yes.
Yeah. Which Text Mesh Pro is basically, rather than doing a like image or like pixels for the writing, basically it uses like vertexes, so it just like references a whole bunch of points, and then it can like infinitely kind of draw it, so you get kind of infinite detail out of it.
Yeah.
So you don't have stuff like these blocks or any of the text around the place where like it'll become illegible at lower settings, purely because it's not an image that gets like downgraded or anything. It's just a vertex based image that's kind of infinite resolution, which a lot of people, well, a lot of companies use it for logos and things like that, so that you don't have that blurriness when people are upscaling or downscaling or increasing the size of the image.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was Clara's room, which I think was the one that's like has everything thrown around quite a lot.
It's I'd forgotten about the blood on the bottom of the mattress, so like as I walked up to it, I was like, "Oh, holy shit!"
Yeah.
So, the South Peak poster, which is both in here, in the actual apartment, which you'll sort of see soon, and actually in the bullpen as well, which is what gives you some inclination that everything that you see in there isn't necessarily as it seems. So yeah, we've also got the playmat and the TV that were also in their apartment later on, which are now in Thomas's room. And on his document, you could sort of see where it says, like, to get him to trust us, we should bring him items of familiarity from his home. Yeah, so now we've loaded into the apartment.
Yep.
And
Managed to dig up an operations manifest. According to it, this wing was made specifically to house our test subjects. Probably just more observation cells. Doesn't say what they were... This isn't good. I don't seem to be getting a signal from beyond the staircase. The piece is definitely down there, though. Make sure you get it. You need to get the... It's important that we...
So an interesting thing about this staircase is basically to prevent the player from backtracking too much and to kind of like trap you in here. There's actually a certain point where you get teleported. So I think it happened about a floor or two up where the player hits a trigger, gets teleported to an identical version of this, but you just can't, you don't have the ability to go back into the transition room. And then we get out into more of the main level.
yeah,
Why was that? Were people turning around? A bit
I
interesting,
mean,
were
it was
they? And-
it was kind of just to give you the feeling of being trapped, like you can't go back and
Ah.
that sort of stuff.
I am careful. There are no boogeymen. Stay away. They lie. He lies.
And then, yeah, one of the interesting parts about the way we put this level together is we wanted to kind of try and give it like an infinite feeling, like, you know, it kind of goes infinitely up, infinitely down, which didn't quite get to achieve, but we kind of have this weird lighting effect where the levels that you actually go on are at full brightness, and then the levels that are further down and further up actually are dimmer to kind of give you this effect of like it all fading away into nothingness.
I was actually surprised how easily I made my way through this. Like, the flow of it all actually worked really, really well. In terms of, you know, finding out where you were meant to go and use certain items.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's showing that there's department-issued letters and stuff that have been sent to this location. All of which is meant to sort of clue you into the fact that these aren't just regular observation rooms and cells, because they're clearly different to what you just sort of saw. Because you've now made your way into the liminal plane related to Kara's what do you call it? Lack of stability with her object of attachment, because it was removed from her anchor, which we can delve into a bit more in, I think, the next video. Yeah. So yeah, I'd forgotten how nasty the inside of the Chinese like food was. Like, I'd forgotten that I'd left the noodles and stuff in there. It was gross.
Yeah. Well, that was very much so kind of the general aesthetic, or like the idea behind these apartments area. It's not supposed to be
Yeah, that
a nice
scared me.
place.
It just appeared in the window.
Yeah.
It was an authentic jump backwards of like, oh my god, sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, in terms of the overall aesthetic, this is kind of supposed to be a very run down and not very nice place to live sort of apartment area.
Yeah.
I guess kind of a interesting point that we can bring up now was all of the keys and things like that that you use to get through the doors, the colored doors. Originally we just had them colored, So that one was just a green key onto a green door. But the gentleman we actually had helping us with marketing, we ended up finding out that he was colorblind, so he gave this level like a little bit of a play around in. And then he was struggling because he couldn't tell the difference between some of the keys, or he couldn't tell that some of the doors were colored to him. They looked very similar. So that's why we actually started putting symbols and things like that on the keys and the doors to help people who might be colorblind or might be struggling with some of the colors to actually be able to differentiate all the keys and all the doors and all that sort of stuff. Which, yeah, moving forward into future projects and things like that is something that we want to keep doing. So, if we do have any sort of color puzzles or anything like that, attaching symbols to those colors. I think it becomes a lot more evident in the next level because there's quite a bit more of
It's actually a decent point to make as well, because in the next level, I actually stumped myself by relying too much on the color and not the symbol.
Yeah.
Which is interesting from my point of view, because it worked very well in terms of you really got to pay attention to both.
Yeah.
Also, I had turned on that radio explicitly for the fact that, like, the vibe I was feeling in this entire area was, like genuinely anxious. So it was, like, quite literally to, like, try and, like, calm me down a bit, just to, like, fill the empty air of, like, okay, like, it's all good. Freaking out because I've just wasted like 2 shots. I don't know how I missed the first one at point blank range, but
I think you aimed slightly too high, but
yeah. So in hindsight, we probably should have made the readout for the charge on the what's it called a little more clear.
yeah, I probably should have. Okay.
Yeah. It started, which is interesting, but yeah.
Yeah, we probably should have made some sort of like battery icon that has like a little slider that slowly depletes as you use more of it, or just done a battery percentage sort of thing, like you get on phones and other electronics.
Yeah.
I guess we can kind of talk about the fact that like rather than having to hand model and make all of these apartments individually, they're what's referred to as a prefab, which is basically just a predefined sort of object. So like all of the counters and fridges and the walls and everything inside is basically just inside this object we can copy and paste around, so then that way we don't have to hand make like every single one. And even within that, I think we had a couple different options. I remember having a whole bunch of different colored like fridges, I think.
Yeah, there were different fridges for sure. I think I was gonna do different toasters, but I decided not to because we didn't end up using them that much.
Yeah,
the fridges were the big one, considering that there was going to be like a bunch of them. There was also a few different variations of the tea towel that's hanging on the oven.
yeah.
They're not. The fridges aren't openable at all, or anything, are they?
No, but they were designed with the capability of being able to do so if we chose to.
I think there might even be in here. There might actually be 1 or 2 apartments that have the fridges open.
I think there are.
Yeah.
That's the thing with VR. It's best to make as much as possible interactable.
Yeah. Which comes with its own set of challenges in terms of optimization as well, which is unfortunate.
Was that? I remember you having trouble modeling the apartments? Wasn't there issues with like the proportions of the staircase or something?
Yeah, I mean, angles and stuff are hard to accommodate for once you get to a certain point. So when the staircase, like the bigger one, got rotated, and even I think this side of the level is on a slight angle compared to the other side, like it's not all square, or like there's not all right angles, and it's not on a set angle either. It's not like perfectly 30 degrees or 40 degrees or anything like that. I think it was something along the lines of like 26 point something or other. So it was like difficult to try and line stuff up in order to what do you call it, actually have things be flush and clean when lining stuff up next to each other.
Such precise numbers. Oh, is that what the saw was used for? You're not.
Yeah.
You didn't use it to saw anything open. But...
You
Then we've got the star of the show, the blowtorch.
I was gonna say, you wanna go into that at all?
Yeah, no, I'll talk about it a bit. So yeah, I think it was like originally we were going to have bolt cutters in this level, and that was going to be like one of the progression blockers. So you'd have to like get to this apartment, grab the bolt cutters, and then use those to break open locks and things like that. But then we decided to change it to actually be a blowtorch. So I had to go through and make the blowtorch. So there's obviously like the sound effects. There's the particle systems that are on the front, because you can actually see the flames. It goes from like a blue to a purple to a yellow or sort of an orange red sort of thing. It's actually 3 different particle effects that are all playing simultaneously to give you that sort of butane blowtorch look. And then when you get out of here, you can go and use it on the lock. I also had to make a shader, which basically, as you can see, shows like the locks and things heating up. And then once it reaches a certain critical point, they will break off. But it took me quite a while to get that to like work the way I wanted it to. Even now, it doesn't quite work the way I wanted it to. I wanted to have sort of a bit more of a trail to the shader, so you would be able to like swoosh it around, and you'd be able to like actually see the trail that you're like leaving of like all the heat. But couldn't get that working, so instead it's just sort of one central point that it will heat up from, and if you move the blowtorch around, it will just keep heating from wherever the blowtorch is aiming at. Yeah, in the end, I think it was one of the cooler or better looking mechanics. Yeah, use it quite a few times in here, and you kind of like lap back on yourself. Use the blowtorch to break open a whole bunch of locks and things like that to get access to new rooms or areas that then get you all of the pieces that you're looking for. Also, I will slightly pat myself on the shoulder, because all of the chains and things like that you see when they fall off, that's all hand animated by me, I'm pretty sure. Which was kind of hard to get looking good.
They turned out really well, though. You did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this is just you walking around collecting up the tools and things like that you need.
And stealing someone's wallet.
Yeah, you know.
I know you put it back.
They didn't need it. Yeah, I noticed that I keep checking the bathrooms and stuff, solely for the fact that I could not remember if we had like put an enemy in any of them. And for some reason, I was thinking that we had. So I out of, again, probably pure, like, anxiety of, like, is it in there? Is it not in there? Am I gonna get jump scared if I need to go in there? I, like, peek open the door in, like, every single one I walk into, just to be certain.
Oh, yeah.
And then there ended up being no enemies at all.
Yeah, there's not one in them, which I... Yeah. Yeah. Implanting memories in my own brain. I also love that when I adjust the headset, it looks like I'm like wiping the sweat off my brow. I was trying to see if it was the side with the
If you-
YMCA on it or not.
YMCA?
Yeah, on the fire extinguisher. In the directions for use on, I think, the reverse side of all the ones that we see. I put like it's the symbols of like the people going YMCA, but it's like the little stick figure guy that's on everything. Purely out of just humor, because I know no one was really gonna ever look at it, but yeah, it's just one of those things.
Any...
See, I could have sworn all these guys were like on a patrolling route.
Quite a lot of them were, but then we ended up taking quite a few off their patrolling routes because they had a tendency of like you'd like walk into a room and they'd be walking directly towards you or be standing and looking directly at you and be like a foot away from you. So
Yeah.
quite a few, especially in the like apartment areas, we changed over to just be standing around. Yeah, there's quite a few that are walking around the corridors and things like that, and they're patrolling up and down.
Yeah. Okay, so narratively with this room, as you can see, kind of a... I'm sure you can imply and infer what's going on here, but in the actual context of the situation and the lore behind the world, this apartment building is obviously where Thomas and Clara lived. And after discovering this information, the department set up their own little base of operations here in order to scout out their recruitment into the research and ritual stuff that they were doing. In doing so, they not necessarily coerced Kara into discovering the lab and the whole torture situation that they'd sort of set up, but they made sure that she became aware of it and scared enough to try and get her and Thomas out of there, which is, you know, sort of what happens in terms of why you end up heading downstairs. And yeah, you kind of like it's more heavily implied throughout all of this than explicitly sort of stated. But yeah, like that's what's meant to be sort of happening in your mind, sort of as you're going through all of this. I think I was really confused here because I'd come upstairs and I wasn't sure if I was meant to keep going forwards or like have the yellow key already.
But yeah,
And then I realized that this shutter I could just open.
yeah. No, the yellow key is for that's the one of the last. Well, no, I think it is the last one you get,
Yeah,
and that
it
kind
is,
of
yeah.
opens up all the walkways and things like that, so you can easily get around.
That was another one that genuinely like shocked me because I didn't see him through the grates.
Oh, yeah.
And then as I lifted it up, he's like standing right there.
Oh yeah, I think it's something I spoke about earlier, or in a previous episode, I should say. How like the closer you actually get to them, the easier it is to see them.
Yeah.
Like, for example,
I think you see that with this guy.
I was going to say, there's a guy walking around in front of you. He'll get easier and harder to see as he gets further away. To the point where, eventually, I think it's like about 15 meters or so. Once they get like about 15 meters or so away from you, they'll just go completely invisible and won't be able to see him at all. There we go, he's trying to headbutt you.
Yep. Me throwing it was trying to work out where the hell he actually was.
They just don't take damage while invisible, hey? You can't just shoot him with the one gun.
But yeah, that's why you need the nightlight.
Oh yeah. Because the whole idea was, when they're invisible, they're kind of on a different plane of existence, but you can see their effects in the world. And then the nightlight's kind of supposed to like pull them into reality so you can deal with them.
Like here, per se. Also, yeah, I fully came down here thinking it wasn't an essential place to go, but it was just like, oh, the lights are on down there, I might be able to like go and just explore.
Yep.
And then I just stumbled upon the purple key, which was great.
Yeah. No, you come to this apartment, grab the purple key, and then that allows you to head around the other way and get the yellow key.
Yeah. I think I vaguely remember like early days. Dude left the toilet seat up because he's living alone, and he dropped the soap.
That's what you call environmental storytelling.
That's right. Early days when we were trying to just work out sort of what we wanted to make interactive. The TVs themselves, I distinctly remember trying to work out how to like have it so that we could either have them like turn on or like at least like display like a video or something on screen. We can mention that in a sec as well. So yeah, that was sort of why I tested whether or not the knob worked, because I just could not remember if we got it working. Yeah, this is part of Artifacts, which is another Adelaide-based game that was coming out around the same time as us, who I think did quite well. And this is part of a little sort of deal thing that we sort of did with them. Not necessarily a deal, but like a mutual goodwill type thing of various horror games that was sort of around at the time. Part of Artifacts especially had, I think, 4 or 5 different game posters in their game world that you could sort of walk past, but we'd only sort of gotten the okay from Partum in order to put it into ours. Yeah, so we've got it in a couple different spots in this level, and I think one in the Liminal Nightmare in the next level.
Yeah. I can't remember how many different developers took participated in that.
Yeah, I think from memory it was like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I vaguely remember, 4 or 5 developers, but I can't remember what ones we got in the game, and we got the okay to use their art and things like that.
Yeah. Like for us, it was definitely just Partum, because I remember I had to go through and make the poster.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd seen screenshots from their game, and yeah, they've got a good, like, I think 4 or so in like a little room or on a hallway or something.
Yeah.
I think it's here where I have like the biggest jump scare that I had the entire time. I'm just looking through this window, and then I glance to the right and I see his fucking... Yeah, I flipped out. I think I screamed loud enough that my mum went, "Are you okay?" And I sort of like had to like, yeah. yeah, just taking a moment to breathe because I like actually like heart racing levels of like, oh my god.
How do you do that? I thought developers couldn't really scare themselves with their own games because
I mean, when it's been
you
2
made
years
it.
since you've played it, you know, I haven't. And this is again like my first time actually being in this level, so like I knew rough. Well, I set dressed majority of it, but like I couldn't remember where specific things like were in terms of enemies or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, he scared the hell out of me.
They were just unwell. Yeah. I can't remember if you said this before, but I think it's VR also just adds multiple levels of immersion as well. I found.
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah,
the
even if you got a couple of zombies in a game, usually it's not that hard to handle. But you put it in VR and the zombies are in your face.
yeah. Well,
That's a
it's the
completely
perfect
different story.
reason as to why we sort of went with a horror game to begin with, because it was, you know, we want to make something super immersive and really envelop you in the world, and you know, you go horror. So there's the other one. Yeah, you go horror game. You realize that you can't look away from what's scary in the same way that you can in like a normal sort of flat screen sort of game. You're in it, so you got to deal with it.
Which I will admit, from a developer standpoint, is both awesome but also kind of annoying. Purely because trying to like having played quite a lot of VR, especially like early in sort of VR's, I don't know, development
Infancy.
or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, like infancy. Like I was playing quite a lot more back in like 2016 to 2020 when it was all kind of starting to come out. It's so hard to pitch or to like show people the experience that you get when you're playing in VR, because yeah, I've seen it so many times where it's like I've played a VR game and then I'll watch a video or like I'll watch someone play through a game and I'll be like, oh, that looks interesting, I'll go play it, and it's just two completely different experiences where like
Yeah.
watching it never feels as good as actually being in the headset playing it, and it's just kind of more amplified compared to traditional video games where you're just playing on desktop and things like that, which is kind of a bit of a curse because trying to show people what's cool about your game, you kind of need to experience it to get the full experience of what it's like. I guess a interesting thing to talk about now is the shutters that you've been using throughout the entire level. Early in development for this level, we actually had a really weird. We had a interesting issue with those because they all have a giant like collider on them, which is basically just a giant cube that the player can't go through. When you were on the lower level and you were putting up all the shutters, we didn't really think about it too much, and then you get to the next level and then suddenly there's a whole bunch of like shutters through the floor that are just blocking your progression. So we actually had to make a system, kind of like a two-part system. First part was there's actually there's the lovely Banshee. The first part of the system was basically a shader that when the shutter went up, it stopped rendering at like a certain height, so anything above that height was invisible. And then along with that, there was also some scripting and stuff that had to get made for the colliders. So basically, the higher the shutter went, it had to dynamically change the shape of the colliders, so it didn't peek through to the next floor. So you were just blocked by these either the shutters or like these invisible colliders, which is just one of those like things that didn't. It seems obvious, but like we just didn't think about when we were first like grey boxing out this level, and then suddenly we're like, oh yeah, we need to make this entire system for this to avoid anything weird happening. Now we get to Thomas and Clara's apartment.
Mm-hmm. With the spooky orange light.
Yes, the non-existent giant orange light.
This actually scared me, the fact that I'd opened all of the other ones and this one was just already open, and I was like, okay.
I don't even know if we left that one open, to be honest. But
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Terrorbrine.
yeah, it's Herobrine.
So this is their apartment, and you can see like Tom's name, and then one of the phrases that he frequents. That's the little voice that you heard sort of in this level, the different one. It's meant to be Tom. And that's the letter that she received saying that, you know, she should come for safety and go to this sort of secret place. And then yeah, there's the book that she wrote after Tom vanished, and obviously the newspaper that's sort of everywhere talking about his disappearance. But yeah, so those are the same objects that you can sort of see in his observation cell. Yeah.
And now you're finishing up this little top area.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think we touched on it a little bit before about this area, and having all these things on angles and things like that. How
Yeah.
makes things a lot more difficult for us because a lot of the tools and things like that we have in Unity, which is the game engine we developed in,
Don't be afraid.
they really like to work to 90-degree angles or squares, basically. So like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I remember going through and making colliders for like all the walls and stuff like that in here was really annoying because we
Yeah.
had to
He's not one of us.
budget all, and it was, yeah, as you were saying, like 26.3 degrees or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But then
It was
there's
finicky.
also a whole bunch of tools and things like that in Unity that we need to use to
He cannot be freed.
do lighting and things like that also like to be on 90-degree angles. So there's like the reflection probes, but they kind of just had to awkwardly be placed in there.
Mm.
And yeah, now we get down to like the administration, the little entrance to the apartments.
Yeah. The lobby.
Yep. Which originally we kind of had the idea of like the room you see in front of you. That's obviously like the main entrance with all the letterboxes and things like that in there. Originally we were going to have the front door be like glass, and you'd actually be able to see out and see like a city street and stuff like that. But we ended up deciding not to go with it, kind of based on the facts that it was going to be a very minimal effect, but it was going to require a lot of effort, because obviously we've got to make kind of a diorama or a small section of a city street and some buildings and stuff like that for something that you really can't see through. Like you can see here, like unless you get real close to the grate, you can barely even see the fact that there's a door there.
Yeah, I've still got all the original concept art and stuff for this area, which I'd done in like I think books and different post-it notes and stuff, which I think actually came up as the 2-year or maybe 3-year, I can't remember, anniversary of actually doing them just the other day, which I found really funny.
Oh, yeah.
We like this whole area, sort of lobby wise, I actually first designed in Minecraft just to get a sense of scale for the and color scheme and stuff for the actual area, because I knew obviously that well, we had the grey box and the general shape, but I wasn't certain how I wanted things to actually look. And yeah, it actually just sort of helped me get a sense of the vibe and stuff. And yeah, this is me discovering that I just put the nightlight in the backpack slot, and not the backpack, which is not a thing that I was aware we could do. So I just did the same with the pistol. And I think I'd do the same with the key card or the torch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, huh.
No, I think we put heavy restrictions on all of the utility belt sort of slots, but I guess we forgot to do the backpack slot. Forgot to restrict that to only being the backpack.
That's my room.
Yep, your little room under the stairs with all the petrol and random other things down
Stay
there.
away.
Sorry.
Leave. They are here to hurt us. They are here to deceive us. He is here to deceive us. He cannot be allowed. He must stay
Oh yeah,
here.
it's next level when you're in there. Yeah, there's the backup blowtorch as well for the people who may have left the other one upstairs. Yeah. I forgot it exploded. That actually made me jump as well.
Oh
I was like,
yeah.
oh yeah, if I close the door, she won't be able to get in.
Nope, she don't care about no door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the locket. So I'm like, okay, grab that. Scared the hell out of me again. First time I've taken damage so far. Second time. I'm still holding the locket at this point, and then when I realize that the door's closed, I think I drop it out of pure panic. And I'm like, okay, I can always go back and get it. And then yeah, I'm trying to like kite her back through the little maze. To trap her. But yeah, like... It's, yeah, another moment of, okay, I'm okay. I do love the design of her, though. With, like, the medical gown and the stuff in her head. There's a technical term for that, but I can't think of what it is. But it was probably, like, old medical treatment from, like, was it the, like, early 1900s or 1800s or something? Yeah. Anyway, I come back in here because I'm like, okay, I need to get the locket again, and I wasn't sure where I actually dropped it. And that's the same observation report from upstairs, so it's like showing that not all of this is taking place at the same sort of time and space and stuff. But yeah, initially the voice that you were meant to hear in this level was meant to be a woman's voice, being Clara. And when you got down here, like, you would hear like gangsters and stuff that were like chasing her, which were actually department officials and stuff, but obviously she didn't know that at the time. But yeah, that was like a whole thing. Which yeah, is sort of why it ends up sort of down here. I then discovered that this thing just was sitting like slightly below my floor. Which this was a whole... I think I spent like 5 minutes trying to like ninja this thing into the air or like onto the card or something, because it wouldn't jump into the hand. Which yeah, that was fun to discover. After jumping out of my skin.
That happened to me once with the keys in the apartments before.
Yeah. It's such a hard thing to gauge as well, because some things are fine. And, like, overall the floor's okay. But then it's like, only sometimes does it become an issue.
Yeah, a lot of time with stuff
Obviously.
like this, it's kind of a software issue where the like the play space, like the VR play space,
Yeah.
it will like either miscalibrate or kind of just mess up and just kind of think that the floor is a little bit higher than it should be.
Yeah.
Like it's part of the reason why when you're playing VR a lot, like once a week or every once in a while, you kind of just have to recalibrate your room and things like that because you'll find that things just slowly over time kind of get off.
Jesus.
I will say I'm so thankful that we worked out how to give the player the ability to fix this issue with the next game.
Yep.
Because yeah, basically in the next game there's a little there's an option in the settings menu where the player can themselves slightly change the like ground height. So if you do find while you're playing that something messes up or you get issues like this, you can yourself fix it up. But I think at the time we just hadn't. It was either we hadn't quite worked out how to get the functionality working, or we were like preoccupied with quite a few other things and trying to get those to work.
Yeah. Good old 3-finger hand pose.
Yep. Oh, got there in the end.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. I know I walked past before, but I don't think I actually. Fuck me, she scared me again. I don't know if I actually go back and look at it or not. But the Silent Hill reference in that other little storage area back behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, just another fun little nod, kind of like the briefcase in the bullpen, where it's like just something to show inspiration and stuff for the different games that we took inspo from. You can see the damage on the thing. This is me forgetting how to actually use it as well, because I just assumed we stuck it into the hand.
No, yeah, to press the trigger, I think. Yeah. I will say
He cannot be freed.
I really am proud of the like health watch shader.
Oh yeah, it came up so good.
Yeah. It's actually just kind of 3 layers. There's like a grid layer, then there's like just a gradient that's like just a color gradient that goes across. Then there's like a layer that's kind of like a cutout that you see the gradient through, which gives you the weird pulse effect. But like, yeah, it itself isn't actually like a little dot going around everywhere, which is interesting.
Yeah. Now we are back in the hut.
Yep. And this time it's changed once again.
Hey, are you there?
Mhm.
Hello? Can you hear me? Oh, thank God you're back. Where'd you go? How did you end up there?
I didn't realize this was going to cut off his dialogue,
Disappeared.
so I just put the piece in
Thought I
the
was
thing,
alone for... Oh, good, you did it.
and I was like, damn it.
And there's only one piece left. Looks like we're about to find out what happens.
Yeah,
in the
that's where
ritual division.
Trimmed it before we sort of got into the next section, because I just sort of kept running. But yeah, we made it back in one piece.
Yep, managed to survive the apartments. So next up is the liminal nightmare.
Yep. Nice, chill, calm name.
Yeah.
To be fair, even the ritual division, or like ritual research, is ominous enough as it is.
True.
But yeah, next episode we can go into the actual attachment between the objects, the anchors, and the liminal planes that you're exploring, and how it sort of culminates.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hope you enjoyed. See you next time.